This season of Tough as Nails just has a weird vibe. So now we're at the end of tonight's episode, and Patrick ends up punching out due to injury. So now we're down to 3 contestants already. It definitely didn't feel the same last year. And now that we're down to, I think it's 5 versus 4 in the team competition, I really don't know what they're going to do to carry on. Maybe Patrick comes back to compete, maybe not. We don't know at this point. But anyways, leaving that aside, let's get into tonight's episode. First off, the team challenge. I was not a fan of this challenge. It's like, hey guys, go paint a wall. It just wasn't entertaining. It wasn't interesting. And like, we just watched people paint. Like, they tried to make it as interesting as they could, but in the end, it just didn't have the feel of all the other team competitions that we've had this season. I don't know if I'm alone in that thought, but watching people paint just didn't do it for me. It just really didn't. Yeah, that's about all I got to say about the challenge. In the end, comes down to 2 mistakes which nobody can see on either team, and the team that figured out their mistake first wins. So Savage Crew, they take the win, and I believe that ties up the team competition. And I think we all know that the team competition is going to come down to the last competition 100%. Like, of course it is. And then from there, we moved into our individual challenge, which arbitrarily was made into teams. This definitely felt like a competition that had no point of having a team. So I don't really get it. And then, of course, as I already said before, Patrick goes out with injury, goes to the hospital, and punches out. So, like, even if they just did 2 heats of 4, the slowest person in each heat goes into overtime. That makes more sense to me, because, like, what would have happened if basically Freight Train was okay to continue, and now all of a sudden Arida and Freight Train have to go to overtime because of Freight Train's mistake? It just feels very, very unfair to Arida when, it could have just been 2 heats of 4, but ended up not mattering since Freight Train had to punch out. Very weird episode. Like, even as I'm watching it, I was looking at the time and I'm like, how are they gonna do a full individual challenge and an overtime and get to the end of the episode? Because I know how many minutes are in an hour. So, like, when that team challenge is watching people paint just dragged on like watching paint dry does, then I was starting to wonder, like, what's going on here? So overall, probably the weakest episode of the season. Hope next week picks back up, and I hope that some sort of solution is found for Dirty Hands having a 5th member, even if it's somebody else comes in to help out. I would be all right with that. So that's going to wrap things up for this week. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next week, we'll see you later.